But the way things are, I kind of feel like a degree of apathy is sort of needed to survive life. Oh, I should probably back this up. Have you ever just felt like, why bother giving a shit? That's usually how I am. Like, I kind of learned this in high school, which is no matter what you do, you are going to offend or up someone, offend or up some, or I'm sorry, defend or offend or upset someone. So I swear, English is my first fucking language. But anyway, you would either do one of these two, regardless of what you do. So why bother giving a shit? I learned this when I was in high school because my sister and I could not get along worth a damn. Still struggle to do. But back then, she would be offended by any little thing I said. It was a pain in the ass. And I kind of realized why bother giving a shit. And I'm kind of glad I learned this real back then because it was kind of reinforced as I back in 2017 when I kind of realized society was going down the shitter. Uh, yeah, sometimes it's just worth not giving a damn. Like the only time I think you should give a damn about someone's feelings is if they're someone who matters to you or you give a shit about. Like I have nothing against the alphabet community or any other community that I'm not a part of, but at the same time, they want me to walk on eggshells for them, and I'm like, no, fuck that. I'll say what I want. Like I don't use slurs intentionally anyway, and but I am not going to walk on eggshells to accommodate someone who, quite frankly, feels like an entitled narcissistic snowflake who just needs to grow the fuck up. Life sucks. Wear a fucking helmet or a cup. And yeah, it's just why bother? Why bother? Like, do what you want to. Well, not do what you want to do with no concern for what others how it affects others. You should be concerned with how it affects people around you, but at the same time, there's a limit. There are limits to how far you should. I think you should give a shit. Like, I want to be in. I want to go into indie comics or maybe indie films. Well, maybe mostly comics. I don't think I would do that well in movies because I'm a really slow writer. But anyway, I mean very slow. But anyway, but I could do that, and if it did well, people could say, "Well, you're taking money away from people in the mainstream." I can be like, "So why should I care? They didn't give a shit about me or the people or their customers back then, and now they're losing money. They give a shit." And they're trying to shame or guilt me like they're trying to do the manga. Yeah, no, fuck that noise. They get what they deserve. So yeah, there's certain people like I don't think you should really give a shit about. Like the modern entertainment industry is probably my favorite example. They shit on their customers and piss them off nonstop, and when people don't like what they make, they insult and shame them. And I'm like, okay, then why do you give them money? You shouldn't give a shit about them anymore. Make your own, like they keep telling us to, and then getting pissy when we do make our own. Not that I've done that yet, but anyway. And I was gonna write this some stuff on this down, but the printer's not working, and I decided to pull a J.J. Abrams and said, "Fuck it, I just wanted to do a video today." Or like, there's this one group I chat with on Twitter where I asked one time, I think a day or two ago, because all right, first for some context, this I said that I posted a blog on Minds that was basically these notes I was using for a video I've planned down the line, and it did well. A guy says to me that yeah, something happened to me when I posted a video about me just complaining about something. It blew up real fast, and I said yeah, the same thing happened to me when I did a video about Netflix making Wesker Black, and he came back with like yeah, that is they did what. And I think he was either upset or he might have been sarcastic with me. I try to remember now. But anyway, then I tried to change the subject because in this group it has to remain focused on like Legacy of Kain stuff. So I asked just to change the subject, could Legacy of Kain suffer from political correctness? Like, could it affect it negatively? And some asshole, I don't interact with him that much, but said the fact I asked that all shows that I know very little about the series in question, and he was disappointed I even brought it up at all. And I gotta admit, I was annoyed by this. I was very annoyed. I thought this was a group that I could be honest with. But you know what? Fuck that guy. I think that's the main thing you should always say is fuck it. When you are dealing with people like that who, like, he could have just said no or yes and moved on, or he didn't think that was that was really relevant to the series, and it probably never would be. And I might have let it go. So yeah, when you kind of realize the kind of people you're around and whether they're the kind you should give a shit about, you kind of figure out which ones you are going to interact with, honestly, and the other ones you're going to be like, fuck them. I think, yeah, I do. I'm a firm believer that you should only give a shit on a certain level. Like, there's levels of giving a shit. Like, I enjoyed telling jokes. Well, I consider them jokes. Other people probably not so much. Like, which is weird because I had a teacher once who I think got my sense of humor, and she actually asked me to do a roast because for a class assignment we all had to take a certain type of speech. She recommended I do a roast. And I decided to pick the one person, this one lady, to roast, and she wouldn't really be present because this was just a school project. And I thought, there's no way she's going to let me do this. I'm just going to ask about it for laughs. I said, okay, I want to do a roast about Hillary Clinton. She said I could do that. And then I made all these jokes, and I was like, you know what, I decided, fuck it, I'm just going to make any joke I want. And if I get pencils thrown at me and death threats, fuck it. Or I might have thought that if I was thinking that much at the time. But the point is, sometimes you have to be like a comedian and say fuck it and just say fuck it to everything. Fuck it to feelings. Fuck it to, and I'm rambling here. So you'll have to forgive me on that because I have no idea where I was going with this because I didn't plan it out. I am making it up as I go along. But yeah, there are just some people not worth giving a shit about their feelings, or they are pretentious little cunts who need to fuck off. Who you should not concern yourself with. You should concern yourself with important stuff. Someone's feelings are not important, especially if they're not someone relevant to you. And what you and I find offensive can differ. Offense is subjective. Some people find the N-word offensive. Some people find it funny. I find every racial slur that's given to white people, I find them not offensive. I find them funny, and I'm offended by the fact we didn't get an offensive derogatory term. Like cracker, honky. Those don't sound insulting, they sound funny. So yeah, offense is subjective for the most part, I would say. There's some things that maybe are universally insulting and offensive, but for the most part, I'm a firm believer it depends on the person in question. And since it is so subjective, and since there's a possibility you are going to offend someone no matter what you do, why bother giving a shit? Why not just say, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want, and as long as it's not hurting anyone, I'm going to do it. You don't like it, kiss my ass. And yeah, it's stupid. It is stupid that we now have to walk on eggshells. And I have no idea where I was going with this. It is important on some level not to give a shit and to be apathetic to certain people because that is how you survive in a world of pansies who think their feelings matter the most. They have no consistency. It's just, I'm offended and you need to suffer for it. And it's like, yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck that and fuck them. Especially if they don't really talk anything out. It's just, I'm offended and there's no need for conversation. And you're a horrible person who I hope dies horribly. That's what I sometimes get from other people. It is not that they've said that to me, but that's the impression I get. Is that you offended me, so therefore you are a horrible person, and I hope you choke on your own blood. So offense can get in the way of, like, it stifles creativity. It stifles a lot of things. You should really want to, I don't know, just do your own thing. And if someone you don't know comes up and says that's offensive, just tell them to fuck off. Like, I really hate the 90s for giving us political correctness. It is distilled dick cancer. Anyway, that's the video. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to get that off my chest. And I feel pretty damn good at having gotten off my chest. Anyway, have a nice day. Remember the game was rigged from the start. And fuck snowflakes.